The Ritual, 2025, is a dark supernatural horror film centered on faith, doubt, and the terrifying struggle between good and evil within the human soul. The story unfolds in the quiet Catholic parish of St. Joseph's Church in the small town of Aling. The film opens with Father Joseph Steiger, a humble parish priest, delivering a sermon about spiritual strength and the armor of God. Despite his calm demeanor, he is privately grieving the recent death of his brother. His sorrow adds emotional weight to his character, showing him as a compassionate but spiritually conflicted man who is struggling to maintain his faith while comforting others. Soon after, Father Steiger is approached by his bishop with a troubling case. A woman named Emma Schmidt has been suffering from severe psychological and physical disturbances for many years. Doctors and psychiatrists have examined her thoroughly, but none of them have found any clear medical explanation for her behavior. Emma reportedly reacts violently to religious objects, hisses when confronted with sacred symbols, and has exhibited strange and disturbing manifestations. With medicine unable to help her, Emma's parish has requested a solemn exorcism, an extremely rare and serious ritual in the Catholic Church. The bishop explains that an experienced exorcist, Father Theophilus Riesinger, has already been assigned to perform the ritual, but they need a location where it can be conducted discreetly. St. Joseph's Church is chosen. Although Father Steiger is skeptical and believes Emma might be suffering from a mental illness rather than demonic possession, he reluctantly agrees to assist. His role will mainly be to document everything that occurs during the ritual. Emma is transported to the convent connected to the church. When she arrives, the nuns immediately notice that something about her is deeply unsettling. She refuses to eat and reacts violently when offered food that has been blessed. When the food is prepared without a blessing, she becomes slightly calmer, which raises suspicion that something supernatural may indeed be affecting her. Father Theophilus soon arrives. Unlike Father Steiger, he is deeply convinced that Emma is possessed by a demonic entity. He is stern, experienced, and absolutely certain that they are about to confront a powerful evil. He organizes the ritual carefully, explaining that several assistants will be required to restrain Emma if necessary, and that Father Steiger will record every detail. He warns everyone involved that the enemy they face is ancient, manipulative, and determined to divide them. The first ritual begins at sundown with traditional prayers and the litany of saints. Initially, nothing dramatic occurs and the session ends quietly. But the calm proves deceptive. Later that night, Emma suddenly becomes violently aggressive. She attacks one of the nuns, Sister Rose, tearing part of her scalp during the struggle. The incident shocks everyone and forces Father Steiger to reconsider his skepticism. Afterward, Father Theophilus insists that Emma must be restrained during future rituals to prevent further injuries. As the exorcism continues over several nights, Emma's condition becomes increasingly disturbing. She experiences seizures, unnatural physical strength, and violent convulsions. Her voice sometimes changes, sounding deeper and more menacing. At times, she speaks in cryptic phrases that appear to reference sin, betrayal, and damnation. The rituals involve intense prayers, commands directed at the supposed demonic presence, and repeated attempts to force the entity to reveal its name. Father Steiger begins to struggle internally. His logical mind keeps searching for medical explanations, and he even arranges for a doctor to examine Emma in the coming week. However, Father Theophilus refuses to delay the exorcism, arguing that hesitation would only strengthen the demon's hold on her. This disagreement creates tension between the two priests. Steiger worries that the ritual itself might be harming Emma, while Theophilus insists that stopping now would doom her completely. During one of the most intense sessions, the entity finally responds to Father Theophilus's command to identify itself. Speaking through Emma, it claims to be a spirit named Mina. The voice taunts the priests, mocking their faith and exposing their personal weaknesses. The demon also reveals disturbing knowledge about Father Steiger's recently deceased brother, suggesting that it can see into the deepest fears and grief of the people in the room. As the nights progress, Emma's body becomes weaker. She stops eating almost entirely, grows pale and skeletal, and suffers constant agony. Yet the voices speaking through her become stronger and more articulate. Sometimes multiple personalities seem to emerge, suggesting that more than one spirit may be possessing her. One particularly chilling moment occurs when another voice claims to be Judas Iscariot, the biblical betrayer of Jesus. This entity declares that it wants Emma to destroy herself, hoping to corrupt her soul completely. These revelations shake Father Steiger's faith even more. He begins questioning whether the ritual is truly saving Emma or simply pushing her closer to death. The convent itself becomes a place of fear and exhaustion. The nuns assisting in the ritual grow increasingly terrified, while Father Theophilus remains relentless in his mission. He believes that the demons are attempting to break their resolve by attacking them psychologically. Emma's suffering reaches horrifying levels. Her body contorts violently during prayers, and she screams blasphemies whenever sacred names are spoken. The demons continue to manipulate the participants, revealing personal sins and hidden guilt among the priests and nuns. Their goal appears to be creating division and despair within the group so that the ritual will fail. Despite his doubts, Father Steiger slowly realizes that some of the phenomena cannot be explained by psychology alone. Emma demonstrates knowledge she could not possibly have and reacts with extreme pain whenever holy prayers are recited. These experiences begin to transform Steiger's understanding of faith and evil. He starts to accept that the battle they are fighting may indeed be spiritual. Emma's condition is described as extraordinarily complex. She reacts violently to sacred objects, hisses like an animal at the sight of religious icons, and demonstrates alarming physical strength and convulsions. Her symptoms intensify after the death of her mother, suggesting that her trauma provides an entry point for demonic forces. Father Theophilus Riesinger, a seasoned exorcist, is called to perform the ritual, with Father Steiger assigned to assist and record events. Initially skeptical, Steiger believes Emma's condition may be psychological rather than supernatural. However, Theophilus warns him that the forces at work are ancient and cunning, designed to manipulate and divide those who attempt to confront them. From the outset, the exorcism is a tense, dangerous process. Emma's violent outbursts lead to injuries among the nuns assisting in the ritual. One has a torn scalp, another a crushed hand. The escalation of violence shocks Father Steiger, forcing him to confront his disbelief. Theophilus insists that restraining Emma is essential for her safety and that of others, while Steiger initially hesitates, hoping medical evaluation might offer an alternative. Tension mounts as the priests and nuns witness Emma's convulsions, seizures, and unnatural vocalizations, including speaking in different voices and cryptically identifying herself as multiple entities, sometimes claiming the persona of Judas Iscariot or referencing other biblical and mystical figures. These manifestations suggest that more than one malevolent spirit is at work, intent on corrupting Emma's body, mind, and soul, as well as weakening the faith of those around her. The film delves into Emma's traumatic past to provide context for her vulnerability. As a child, she was exposed to familial betrayal, neglect, and alleged witchcraft, including being fed cursed food by her father and aunt. These early wounds created a susceptibility to spiritual attack, establishing Emma as a person of extraordinary sensitivity. Theophilus explains that these demons have waited for the right moment to assert control, taking advantage of her grief and isolation. Father Steiger learns that he had known Emma briefly in her childhood but had failed to intervene properly during a prior exorcism in Reading, a mistake he now fears repeating. This revelation intensifies the moral stakes, emphasizing that the exorcism is not just a battle for Emma's soul but a confrontation with past failure and the consequences of spiritual negligence. As the ritual progresses, Emma's suffering becomes almost unbearable. She is malnourished, dehydrated, and physically weakened, yet the demonic voices continue to speak through her, delivering blasphemous taunts and vivid accounts of violence, including the torture and death of her grandmother, which are designed to break the priests' and nuns' resolve. The church team struggles with exhaustion and fear as the line between spiritual battle and human cruelty blurs. Steiger faces a crisis of faith, confronting the possibility that his doubt may inadvertently empower the demonic presence. Theophilus, meanwhile, urges persistence, framing their work as an essential defense against evil, warning that any pause or hesitation could result in Emma's permanent damnation. The story intensifies as Emma's condition worsens. She becomes increasingly volatile, escaping confinement and moving through the convent's catacombs. The team experiences the horrors of her possession firsthand, witnessing her body contort and hearing voices claim to speak from hell itself. The demonic forces taunt them directly, mentioning Father Steiger's deceased brother and his personal vulnerabilities, deepening his guilt and spiritual crisis. Despite this, the film underscores the importance of faith, ritual, and courage. Even in the face of extreme danger, Theophilus emphasizes the necessity of resolute action, highlighting the priests' and nuns' roles as defenders against spiritual corruption. In the climax, the exorcism reaches its most harrowing moments. Father Theophilus and Father Steiger invoke the authority of God, commanding the demons to identify themselves and depart. They call upon the power of Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and Saint Michael the Archangel, employing intense prayers, litany, and ritualized commands. Emma, though near death from physical and spiritual exhaustion, becomes the focal point of a cosmic struggle between good and evil. The demonic forces are named Jacob, Mina, Judas, Asmodeus, Satan, Leviathan, Beelzebub, each expelled from Emma's body after prolonged confrontation. The narrative emphasizes that Emma's salvation is not just a personal triumph but a testament to the power of faith, discipline, and spiritual unity among those who serve God. After the successful exorcism, Emma is physically and emotionally fragile but alive, signifying the victory of divine intervention over demonic manipulation. Father Steiger, profoundly transformed by the ordeal, reconciles with his grief over his brother and gains a deeper understanding of his spiritual responsibilities. The film closes on a note of cautious hope. While evil remains pervasive and human suffering continues, unwavering faith, courage, and commitment to spiritual duty can resist even the most formidable forces of darkness. Emma's ordeal, though traumatic, underscores the film's central themes of resilience, faith under pressure, and the ongoing battle between light and darkness in both the spiritual and human realms. The movie's horror is rooted not only in graphic depictions of possession but in its psychological and emotional weight, exploring how grief, trauma, and doubt can leave individuals vulnerable to exploitation by malevolent forces. The intense rituals, terrifying manifestations, and intricate interplay of faith and skepticism create a narrative that is both spiritually and viscerally unsettling, making The Ritual, 2025, a chilling exploration of human frailty, divine authority, and the enduring fight against evil in its most insidious forms. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.